Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. I am 18 hours into fasting. This is one of the longer ones that I've done in recent times, and I feel so good again. And thought I would share some tips that I've discovered over the years. And a lot of these tips come from getting to know yourself, right? The first tip I would seriously consider is to make some kind of a journal of how you're feeling during various fasts and maybe even how you feel after you eat. For me, my YouTube videos have kind of doubled as my personal journal because a lot of times when I'm tempted to break the fast and I don't want to, I will review some of my past experiences and uh, so, for example, I know sometimes one of the biggest challenges I have with fasting is that I'll break the fast and then instantly regret it for some reason. I maybe think that I could have gone a little bit longer. I'll talk about a story where I had a time when I regretted it. Um, I I was cleaning my backpack and found so many forks, and I know why I have them. Many years ago, or 3 years ago, when I first started fasting, I realized that there were certain trigger foods that I had to take a break from having. One of my favorite fast food meals is, or one of the few that I can eat, I should say, is the French fries at Five Guys. The problem is I had a very abusive relationship with it. I could eat other things normally, but when I got to the Five Guys fries, I would shovel it into my mouth for some reason. And when I started my journey into healthier portion sizes, I realized that's something that I'll have to take a break from. And notice how I said take a break from. I didn't say swear off. I needed to recalibrate how I eat before I could take on that challenge. You can think of it as almost you want to ask a girl out on a date, and this one is just out of your league. So you practice with some other girls first, right? That's how I treated the Five Guys fries. I would go to the this is at beginning of 2020. I would go out and I would see other people eating fries, and I was like, oh God, someday I want to eat like them. At the time I had a difficult time with it. I discovered quite by mistake that if I use a fork while eating it, it will seriously help with that issue. What had happened was, I don't think I need to say why in 2020 we didn't want to touch our food, right? We were eating everything with a fork. And I discovered that, oh my God, I would order, if I remember correctly, back then I was routinely eating 2 or 3 large fries, and then by the time I finished one of them, I was like, gee, I don't want any more. And obviously, 2020 was a very trying year for a lot of people. I would then often share the fries with some homeless guy that I would see on the street, and I discovered that it really paid 2 lessons from that. It really pays to pay attention to what kind of foods you have a abusive relationship with, and then just put it aside for some time while you work on your challenges. Come back to it. Don't swear it off, but come back to it. And second, it pays to pay attention to any little hacks that you can use to address it. Right. I notice how when I have a craving, if I tell myself to give myself just 5 minutes to do anything else, right? In fact, treat myself to something that I've been wanting to do for 5 minutes, a YouTube video that I wanted to see, or maybe recording a YouTube video, right? Maybe there's a nervous email that I need to send. I haven't had a chance to talk to my colleague about something, or do that first. We can always come back to the food in 5 minutes. And nothing's going to happen between now and 5 minutes. You can have it 5 minutes later, right? Another thing I like to do is when I get to the office to tell people that I'm fasting today, or have a little bit of accountability in it, right? I usually don't want to mess up after I've told somebody about my intermittent fasting for today and of how I feel about it, right? And it becomes a little bit of a reminder as well about how good I'm feeling, right? Maybe somebody that I work close with can tell me about how good I felt the other day when I was fasting. My last tip, and this one is going to sound weird until you are really into intermittent fasting. Treat your eating like it's a liability, right? You have to feed the beast, right? It takes a part of your income away. It takes away a part of your time. It really is a liability, right? When you think of it that way, first of all, you'll treasure your food a whole lot more, right? And second, you'll start to realize that there are other things that are much more enjoyable in life, like recording a Peter Dislike show. This is the Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum.